149 million Ghana cedis to pay for the 4 months ending December 2017. This will enable the health trainees concentrate on their education, reduce hardship, especially on students from vulnerable and poor families, and avoid disruptions in the school curriculum system. Mr. Speaker, the NHS has undergone several changes since its inspection. At the time this government took office, the scheme was facing challenges in claims management, e-claims, delays in processing of claims, coupled with other challenges in administration and management of the NHIA. The government promised to restructure NHIS and make it more efficient and effective. Mr. Speaker, a committee has been put in place to review the report and put together a plan for restructuring the scheme.
Touching on education, Ken Oforiatta stated that plans are far advanced to ensure the smooth commencement of the free SHS policy by September this year.
Mr. Speaker, a Ghanaian student is eligible to benefit from the free SHS policy if she writes the basic education certificate examination from 2017 and is placed by the computerized school selection and placement system into a publicly funded second cycle institution. Beneficiaries of this government scholarship will enjoy it for a period of 3 years. Foreigners are excluded from the free SHS. Mr. Speaker, to ensure that the poor and the vulnerable are not left behind, students from disadvantaged backgrounds will be considered for placement. To prepare them adequately for a successful SHS program, special in-school tuition will be provided for them. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, 30% of vacancies in elite schools will be reserved for students from public junior high schools. Mr. Speaker, government is taking the necessary steps to ensure that the quality of education is not compromised as a result of the implementation of free SHS programs. In this regard, a number of interventions have been outlined as part of the implementation program. Notable amongst them are the following: provision of 4 core textbooks for all first-year students, rationalization of teacher deployment and training at the SHL level, optimization of instruction time by extending the school day as well as the number of instructional days, establishment of robust school inspection and accountability systems, and 1 hot meal a day for day students.
The finance minister described Ghana's economy as stable, but the minority in parliament says the mid-year budget review is cosmetic, adding that Ghana's economy is on life support.
Based on a number of factors such as stability of the cedi and low interest rates in the economy, the Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta, during the presentation of the mid-year fiscal policy review of the 2017 budget on the floor of Parliament Monday, described the economy as now stable. But the minority thinks the figures are Both sides of the House raised salient concerns on the budget.
Speaker, the reason why I'm saying this is a Samboni budget is that the Speaker look at the expenditure carefully. Page 52. In as much as we have paid workers, Mr. Speaker, we are cutting down goods and services budget by 600 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, what this simply means is that we are paying workers to sit at government offices, but they will not have tools to work. Clearly, capital expenditure, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Speaker, that's another worrying one. Mr. Speaker, the program, Q1 and Q2, the program was 2.9 billion. Mr. Speaker, the outturn is 2.4 billion. Mr. Speaker, what simply means is that the contractors, those who are working on our capital project, we are not paying them. Mr. Speaker, there's a shortfall of 600 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, let me also say that I am not surprised that Q1, Q2, the outturn from the projected actually outperformed. Mr. Speaker, I'm not surprised because the numbers that they are showing us are cosmetic.
Mr. Speaker, in as much as the current finance minister came to do a budget review as required by Section 28 of the PFME, he strayed away from a supplementary estate. It was well within his power, Mr. Speaker, it was well within his power to seek parliamentary approval to commit additional resources to fund additional expenditures. He said, I'm going to cut my coat according to my size, so he didn't count for a supplementary extra. Ghana's economies benefited tremendously from oil, whereas last year at the same time we did only 400 million. By His Excellency John Dramani Mohammed's effort, we did 1.2 billion of oil. The same time last year, whilst we did 2 billion for gold export, we have done 3 billion, an additional 1 billion. Tell me, what did His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and my brother, His Excellency Vice President, did to ensure that oil grew and gold export increased? Nothing. Is it one village, one dam? Is it one village, one dam? Is it one district, one factory? Is it the army worm? So at the end of the day, you are taking credit when you are yet to be on your feet. Mr. Speaker, this economy is on allied support.
The minority said they inherited an import cover of 1.8 months and 9.5 billion debt. We inherited 2.8 import cover and a whooping 122 billion. Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, things cannot be the same. This government has done so much in less than 7 months, in these 6 months. So I believe we should let the world know that in 6 months we have made significant strides.
The leadership of the House raised other concerns.
I think that we are walking wrong path in using a statement and not a motion to subject an important economic policy decision. But Mr. Speaker, in saying so, let me refer you to page 20 of the minister's presentation, page 20. And Mr. Speaker, I'll do page 20 and 40, where he himself is now a contradiction in terms of what he wants this House to do. Mr. Speaker, I'm quoting from page 20, in particular paragraph 78 through 79, 80 and 81, and I'll come to page 42 to quote. And he states, Mr. Speaker, since the presentation and approval of the 2017 budget statement and economic policy by this August House in March, there have been some development both external and domestically which have necessitated a revision in the 2017 fiscal framework. How can he do this revision without an action of Parliament? It does not lie within his hand. Mr. Speaker, he goes further, and this is for my purpose. Paragraph 83, this is what he states. He says, to ensure that we do not compromise our fiscal consolidation objectives and targets, expenditures are planned to match the downward revision in revenues. He cannot realign expenditures and revenue without parliamentary approval. But the more important message is that he says that downward revision in revenues and expenditures, as well as reclassification of inflows from the sale of shares, have resulted in the revision of the fiscal deficit target from 6.5% of GDP to 6.3%. On whose authority can he revise that? You have forgotten. On whose authority can the Minister of Finance, just by a statement, come and announce to the Parliament of Ghana that I'm revising the deficit from 6.5% to 6.3%? No. So as far as we are concerned, what was approved in the Appropriation Act, we expect him that at the end of 2017, you report back to this House on 6.5%.
Away from that, government has stepped up